Hey, how are you guys? This is Miss Lynch wearing my gardening gloves because I am talking to you from our garden. I'm going to give you a couple videos to share about how our school garden is going. I'm very sad that I cannot be here with you guys so you can help us grow. It is raining a bit, so we'll see how long this lasts. The first thing I'm going to share with you is right here is our little patch of sunflowers. I know we read the book, The Bad Seed, with the little kids, kindergarten, first and second, but the bad seed is in fact a sunflower seed. And sunflowers are a symbol of hope. So last year, some of our 4th and 5th graders with Miss Hartman planted some sunflower seeds. These are actually new sunflower seeds, but I wanted to share with you. So last year, our sunflowers grew and then they died, as plants and animals do. So they kind of died, and I kept some and I dried them out. And the part of the sunflower that has the seed is kind of this middle part right there. And so I actually took those sunflowers from last year, and because they were dried out, I kind of scraped them and got some seeds. I don't know if you can see it, but there is a seed right there. And then we planted them. So the sunflowers that we are planting this year are actually like from last year's sunflowers. We did not have to buy any seeds. We just dried out the ones from last year and used those to plant. There are some cool things about sunflowers that I am going to show you. There's lots of cool things. They of course grow very tall, taller than me, and I am 5 feet and 10 inches, so they can grow, up to 6 feet or even taller than that. The other kind of cool thing, and I think a lot of plants do this, I have noticed as I'm watching these gardens grow, but if you can see, so let's see, where is it? If you can see this little leaf right here, it still has a sunflower seed on it. So it is actually has its sunflower seed on it. So that leaf, this little bud grew out of that seed, and the seed is kind of still stuck on it right there. And I feel like that's kind of amazing. A lot of the sunflowers, as they grow, you can still see the seeds for a little bit. We have a lot of little bugs here eating up the sunflowers, and some of the seeds, of course, are smaller than others, but we have a lot of buds. I think this is going to be a really cool garden. Here's another leaf that has a seed on it, maybe. Here's a better look at that bud with the sunflower seed on it. I think it's just amazing that they do that. There's lots of little bugs around here, hopefully not eating our plants. And you can see there are some that are very small, like these guys, and some that are a lot taller, like that one. So there's all kinds of different heights and levels. So we will kind of keep you updated as they grow. See you guys. Back in the school garden, the next thing I'm going to show you is our rain barrel. So as you may or may not hear about is that, we try to not waste water because it is bad for the environment and we need water. We have a, not unlimited supply of clean water. So one of the things that we were able to purchase last year with the help of some funding and Miss Sue Ellen and Miss Highsmith is this rain barrel. So I'm going to stop this video and connect to the next video so I can see what we are doing. But basically, this is the rain gutter. So when it rains, water goes into that white sort of gutter and pours down, flows through this tube. And then it drips into our rain barrel, which has like a grate there. And I'm going to stop there and I'll turn the camera around so you guys can see more about this. So the water flows down this pipe into this rain barrel and collects every time it rains. So if you go down to the bottom, we have a little nozzle at the bottom that we can open and close to collect the water. I'm going to close it because what I've been doing while we have been videoing is filling up our watering can. So you can see that the water is coming straight from the rain barrel into the watering can, and then we use the watering can to water the flowers. So it does not have a lot of water pressure, is probably the worst, or the thing that is the most difficult to deal with when we're watering with a rain barrel, because it's not going to like flow really strong like a hose would with pressure from your house water. But it does allow our garden to grow without extra water. We just are using rain that we are collecting, which I think is kind of cool. I turned the water back on, so right now I'm filling up one of our little watering jugs. You can see how it's coming out of the hose from our rain barrel. Not that fast, but it's kind of cool that we're able to use what we already have and not use more water that somebody else could use. So these are recycled kind of water bottles that we put holes at the top of them. Although I cannot take credit, the lovely, amazing Rosie at Yellow Dog Farms was the person that helped us get our garden started last year. So she gave us some of these water bottles. So again, when you go upside down, it does not really let any water out, but when you squeeze it a little bit, it lets the water out. So what we do is we kind of jam them into the soil near to a plant that looks like it might need a little extra love and extra water. And we put it upside down, and you can see it starts to kind of bubble, and the water is released slowly into the soil underneath the plant. So after we water it, and if we think the plant still needs a little bit more water released over time, we can do that and give it a little extra water. Okay, so we are now in the garden by the compost pile, which is by another water spout, which I felt like really was a missed opportunity to sing. The itsy bitsy spider climbs up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Anyway, so we are by the compost heap, and we have kind of a bin, and it stands on silver legs, and it's able to move and rotate. So I'm going to turn the camera around and do another video and kind of tell you a little bit about what goes into our compost and what it does. So basically, a compost bin is a place where you can add items to a big pile and let nature take its course, which means let nature break down the items and make them into healthy soil. So you kind of add some brown leaves. I showed you a couple pictures, or I will show you a couple pictures in the other video, but there's some brown leaves down there and some greens. And you can add kitchen scraps, like I put my coffee grinds and some oranges and some old lettuce that was kind of yucky, we couldn't eat, so I put it in there. You cannot add things like meat or anything that has fat. You can't add bread. You don't want to add things that are like weedy or that are going to grow inside of it. You kind of want things that are already dead and that aren't going to grow. Some people can, and you might, and we did. We bought some red worms because, I don't know if you know this, but worms are amazing, and they are one of nature's great sort of composting beings. They basically eat things, and it goes through their body and comes out the other side in the form of rich soil. So our compost has some red worms in it that we're hoping are working down there at the bottom. I couldn't find any as I was digging. But what you do when you compost is you kind of add those things together. This is not really a quick process, but you want to keep your compost nice and moist and nice and wet with water so that it has a chance to kind of work and mix together. So I try to water it every time I come by to water the garden. And I'm going to close it. And we have these little things so you can twist it up and you kind of turn it or mix it. It's almost like a recipe. So you want to mix everything together as often as you can. Not too often, I guess, just like mixing in a recipe. You have to kind of be careful about what it ends up like. Sometimes you want it to be a little lumpy. But you mix it together and you basically just wait. So we have some soil at the bottom of our compost bin. As you can see at the top that we added some more. I added some more brown leaves and greens, and I've been adding some of my kitchen scraps over the last couple months. So there's some at the top that have not composted yet, but there is some soil at the bottom. So you can do it in a bin. If you wanted to do it at home, you could really just start a pile in your yard somewhere that was out of the way, and just add your kitchen scraps and stuff and kind of mix it up every once in a while. That would work too. So that's our compost bin. We're trying to make our own rich, healthy soil. Have a good one. All right, so we started with the sunflower seeds in our other bed right there. So now we're coming over to our bed here. And one of the things that was very cool that came right away is our lettuce plant. It's awesome. And it was planted last year. So this is a perennial, which means it grew, last year and then it grew again this year. It's super healthy looking. I researched and found out that basically to harvest lettuce, if you want to have it in your garden, you just kind of cut off the outer leaves when you think they look ready, and you can kind of leave the inner bundle to keep growing because it'll kind of grow from the inside. So you don't have to cut the whole lettuce off. You can cut like one leaf at a time if it's in your own personal garden. Over here, I believe these are spaghetti squash. We had cooked a spaghetti squash and I decided to save the seeds from the inside of the squash and just kind of dumped them in the garden, and there they are. And the spaghetti squash is doing the same thing that the sunflower seed is doing, which is my favorite thing, which is the seed is still on the bud. It has not fallen off yet. And I think that's just amazing. It's like my favorite thing in nature, I think, today is when seeds stay on the leaf. This is another baby one. The seed is still there. It's like the seed is still in the soil. So this is spaghetti squash. So we'll see how that grows. I'm imagining that will probably not be ready to harvest until the fall. I'm going to walk around here past our lettuce. Down here, I believe these are cucumber buds from last year that have kind of regrown or come back. And so we'll see how those go. And I think this might be a basil, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'll have to check that out. I am going to share with you an app that I use at home sometimes to identify plants. There's a lot of different ones that you can get an app, and like iNaturalist or Plant Identifier, and so you just take a picture of the plant with your phone and the app will tell you what they think it is. So this is, I believe, more cucumber. Those big sort of heart-shaped leaves are really cool, really bumpy. Oh yeah, there it is. It's the tasty pickle cucumber. So I think all cucumbers are tasty. I'm pretty excited about that. And here in the middle here, we have some Brussels sprouts, which are delicious with honey and vinegar. So we'll see how those go. Those are something that I'm going to have to research because I do not know when they are ready to be harvested. This is another plant that came back from last year. And I believe, according to my app, it is called wild marjoram. Marjoram is a spice, and it's kind of, they said it's like minty and oregano. So oregano is kind of a spice that you see in pasta a lot, and it sure does smell like mint. It's delicious. You can see it. I just took a little piece of it, and it smells so good. So that's like minty oregano. So you can use it a lot of places in the Middle East, like places like Iraq and Jordan use marjoram in their cooking. Over here we have our tomato plants growing. They look okay, pretty healthy. I think we need to get a little shade for them. It's really hot in the sun when the sun is shining for days on end. So I think we need to get a little cover for some of our plants, because it looks like they kind of start to burn if it's too sunny. So tomatoes, looking good, not sprouting anything yet. And these are our peppers. So the little kind of pointy, ovaled leaf on the pepper plant. We just did sweet peppers, but they are looking also pretty good. This one's looking a little better than this one, but so we are hoping that all of those things will sprout and grow, and we'll start to see some fruits and vegetables come out of our garden. There are some other things growing, but I'm not sure what they are yet. You see this little guy here? That might be, no, not sure what that is. We'll have to check it out. It looks very healthy though, whatever. And over here I believe we have some potatoes. And that's our garden for now. I hope that you guys enjoy. I hope that you get to see it soon. I'll try to keep you updated through videos and stuff. I hope you have a great day. Bye.